Hello and welcome to Professional Etiquette for the virtual meeting. With us today presenting is Dina Nance. Ms. Nance is the owner and chief culture officer of Training by Design, Inc. She brings over 30 years of experience in project management, lifecycle methodology, and learning and development strategies. Her company, Training by Design, Inc., is celebrating 18 years in business, and they provide learning and development consulting services, professional development training, project management training, and technology training, as well as coaching and speaking engagements. Their focus is on creating global training solutions designed to shift your culture. So let's please welcome Dina to the session. Dina, I'm going to bring up your first slide and I'm going to bring you back on microphone because I had you muted. Let's get you back to your first slide, which would be helpful. And the floor is yours, Dina.
Excellent. First of all, thank you so much, Mel, for the outstanding introduction. Let me just say this. After that, I would hire me. Let me just say that I would hire me. So I appreciate all of your help. I appreciate all of your help. Well, welcome to everyone in the room, in the virtual space. I just want to say thank you again. For those of you that just got on again, my name is Dina Nance, and again, I am the owner and chief culture officer of Training by Design Incorporated. Mel covered our services, but the bottom line, the quick answer to what we do is learning and development is our direction. Learning and development is who we are, and learning and development is where we spend our time. As we move on, I also want to take a moment to not only, again, I want to thank Mel Chambers for the introduction, but all of her support in getting me set up. The next thing is I want to take a moment to thank not only Trina Petty, the chairperson of the TOC board, but I want to take a moment to thank everyone on the board, every officer, every board member that was involved in selecting Training by Design to speak on today. We are honored and we thank you for what you did. I want to spend a moment before I kick off. I want to spend a moment talking about TOC for a moment. TOC, of course, stands for Training Officers Consortium. And I know that Mel is going to cover this at the end, but I want to just take a moment and just give a plug to say that if you are a federal leader, a federal executive, the owner of a business that needs training or is involved in training, and a vendor, a contractor, anybody in the training space, I need you to consider not only just attending, but joining TOC. They are really, I'm going to call them the creme de la creme, the top of companies throughout the really throughout the nation, but they're very strong and they're based in Washington, D.C., and their focus is professional development. Their specific mission, which I wanted to share it because I really wanted you to think about it while I'm presenting. I wanted you to think about how you can connect with them, how you can look at it as part of your networking plan, your future plan, how to grow your team, how to grow your network, but above all, how to learn about the professional development space from them. So their mission, TOC's mission, is to provide premier professional development programs to strengthen networking forums for the federal government learning community, thereby providing a highly qualified, effective workforce. TOC builds and reinforces the strength of the community through networking professionals. So again, please consider joining TOC or attending future events or at least stopping by to see what they offer. Mel is going to actually drop the TOC website in the chat box in a little so that if you want to take a look at that, you can peek at that and then, just consider at least attending future sessions. So I wanted to share that with TOC. Thank you so much. As we move forward, not going to stay here. Lots of items on this slide, but she covered who we are. You will get these slides at the end. So if you need information on who we are, you will find that there. One of the things I do want to share, though, is we provide our services to both the public and private sectors. We are in a host of federal agencies, but we also support private businesses. And again, if it's anything regarding learning and development, we can provide that for you. The next item, while Mel has already had us, come on board and really say where we're from, I really just want to see who's in the virtual space. So if you can, please, take some time, go into chat. I want to please share your first name and not so much as where you're joining from, but if you don't mind, either share your agency or the company you're from. Let's do that first. Share your name, please, and share the company or agency you're representing if you don't mind. But in addition, I'd also love to hear what is your highlight over the past week? What would you say was your highlight over the past week? Whatever that is, just want to hear from you guys. Thanks so much. Take a moment to do that, please. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Just want to hear from you. Just want to hear from you. Excuse me. Excellent. So I see a host of folks responding. I see different locations where you're from. I see first and last names. I appreciate you. Excellent. I see we have Potomac, Maryland in the virtual space. Awesome. I see we have Amy from Crofton, Maryland. Excellent. I see we have folks in again from Georgia, Stone Mountain, Georgia. Great place, great place. Love it. Excellent, excellent. Oh, I love Atlanta. I see Atlanta's in the house. Love to get to Atlanta. Awesome, awesome. I see Carmelo from Tedco. They're doing some powerful things in the business space. If you don't know who Tedco is, please support them. Awesome. Hello, Patricia. Patricia's here representing from EPA. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Ingrid from Spelman College. So we have a wealth. We have a wealth. And I did that because I wanted to really get an idea of the mix in the audience. So as a result, we're going to move on because I really want to have some time to talk about professional etiquette for the virtual meeting. Ooh, so let me just say this. While I have been presenting in some form or fashion for over 30 years, my business is 18 years old, and I must say this was one of the most challenging sessions to put together. And part of it was is because we already know, we're all in agreement. We know that we are in a pandemic, correct? We know that we are still on somewhat of a lockdown, and we know that there are challenges in and around our workplace. As a result of that, I thought about this. I thought about this a couple of days ago. I literally could ask Mel to put everyone's mute on and to unmute everyone and have each of you share something regarding the virtual space. Each of you could tell me what you like, what you don't like, what's worked well, why you're burned out, why you're overwhelmed, why you feel confused, why you prefer not to show up, why you don't want to show your camera, why you don't want people to see into your house, why there's so many meetings, why do they feel boring, why do you have to speak? So I wanted to start there. Each one of us have had a host of challenges over the past 6 to 8 months around this whole pandemic and how do we move our workforce virtually. So as much as there was a piece of me that says, what can I really teach them? What can I show them differently? They've been on there, they've mastered it, they've addressed some of the challenges, they figured out how to work with their boss, they figured out how to move, they figured out how to learn different things, they figured out how to get on and never turn their camera on and still be successful. You figured out a lot of things, but one of the items that today is really about helping you understand that we must set some type of standard or guidelines around how we would like our particular offices to handle professional etiquette, but also not speaking to leaders, to the individuals, as to my business analysts, to my new managers, my new supervisors, to new employees in federal government or in private. I'm really speaking to you mostly because one of the biggest challenges that is happening is I have more individuals that are calling me or calling my team members to share their frustration. They're calling to share their frustration, the opposition, and the anger about having to come into the virtual space. But what you guys are missing, you are missing that there is a host of opportunity and promotion and success if you shift your mind. If you shift your mind. So taking a look at this slide, the challenge of where we are today and the problem that we're going to help resolve today. At the top, I'm going to read it. It says the country. We know this. I want to say it so you can hear it. And then I want you to begin to write down a couple of things in front of you so that you know what your focus is. So the challenge about why we're here today and the challenge of this session is the country, as we already know it, is still in the midst of a nationwide pandemic. And a large part of the workforce is now virtual. Many of the virtual meetings still appear to be unprofessional, unorganized, and unproductive. Many of the individuals leading the meetings, as well as the ones attending the meetings, are overwhelmed, exhausted, and many times uncomfortable when speaking or attending in a virtual setting. The last piece says, in addition, while federal, state, and local agencies, along with private, are working extremely hard to put together protocols, guidelines, and standards, today we're going to share some of ours. One of the biggest things I want to say, though, is before we can actually begin to have a different thought process about the virtual space, guess what? We have to shift our mind. We have to shift our mind. We have to shift our mind. One of the things is that what I think is missing, I want to say this, I want to say two things before I go any further. The number one thing about the virtual meeting space, I need each of you, I need each of you to begin to develop a mindset of success as to what I'm going to do. This is each of you, of what each of you are going to do the next time you come into a virtual meeting or virtual event. Because if your mindset doesn't shift, your actions will never change. The last thing is there are a lot of promotions. My last slide talks about the promotions that come out when you begin to change what you do in the virtual space. I want you guys to not only think about how you're going to shift your mind in the virtual space, but I want you to begin to think about what type of promotion would you like to gain when you change what you bring to the virtual table. And if you don't mind, I want to stay right here for a moment. I want to see some comments in chat. I love for you to, whoever doesn't mind sharing, share with me how you want to be promoted. Promotion, because promotion looks different to everyone. In the new virtual space, would you like to enhance your skill sets to such a manner that you'd like to see a promotion in your new career? Would you like to be elevated in your current position? Would you like to see a pay increase? Would you like to see bonuses come forth? Let's speak it, because whatever we begin to speak or say is what's going to happen. Do you want to see new partnerships come out? Would you like to gain a mentor in the new virtual space? Because again, that's the challenge. Everyone is complaining, not everyone, but most people are complaining and murmuring about the challenges happening right now in their virtual space. But you don't realize we're still being watched. You don't realize that this is a season like any other in which you are being invited to a table that you'd have never been invited to in the classroom or in the actual office. So you're being invited in, the doors being open, opportunities in front of you, but because you're not walking the process out, you're missing it. So that's what today is about. It is about what you're going to do to get hold of what's yours. That's what today is about. So let's see who shared some of the promotions. Excellent. I'm not going to say names, but one person says she is looking for money, money, and more money. Excellent. So we're going to work that out. Someone else said that they are looking for a new location. Excellent. Someone else said they're looking for partnerships. Someone else said they're looking for a bonus. Excellent. Oh, I love it. I love it. Someone also said they're looking to become the subject matter expert. Guess what? That means if we want to become the subject matter expert, I'm just going to say this and we can end on this note. That means each of you, not just the person that said it, whoever desires to be the new subject matter expert, that means you should never attend another virtual meeting without being prepared. Never again. That's all I'm going to say. Never again. Let's move on. So, again, professional etiquette for the virtual meeting. Today, we're going to talk about the different pieces that will allow you to be more successful, more focused, and to gain some of your items in the area of promotion. We're going to address your purpose, how to prepare effectively. We're going to talk about how to practice, what to do during the presentation, what promotion looks like, and how to create your own mini performance plan. Below here, here's some of the specifics. We're going to talk about how to identify the purpose for attending or delivering. Now, let me address that for a moment. Initially, I had written this entire course centered on all of the leaders that have to present and lead a virtual meeting. I said, let me make sure they're ready and that they have everything they need to be successful. But then I had to take a step back. A lot of times, if you're already in a leadership role, you understand. So I realized I have to talk to two different groups of people. I am addressing those of you that attend a lot of meetings and you believe that as long as you just show up, you have on some type of outfit and you're almost on time, you think it's enough. But I'm also talking to those leaders that are overwhelmed and exhausted and burned out and are really counting their days for retirement. I'm talking to both of you. The next item is we're going to review key preparation techniques. We're going to assess ways to practice, which is key. We're going to look at how to actually deliver a session. We're going to talk about ideal ways to identify what promotion you're looking for. And then we're going to talk about how to put together a quick performance plan of what you want to come out of the items you learned today. So on my next item, we're going to do a quick poll. We're going to do a quick poll. So the poll is geared toward, let me get to my page. The poll is geared toward where you are right now regarding virtual etiquette. So in the poll, excellent. So Mel is about to set the poll up. In the poll, the question in the poll is regarding professional etiquette for the virtual meeting, which one of these items do you think are true? Number one, do you believe that preparation is not mandatory if I'm only attending a virtual meeting versus leading it? Again, poll question number one is, and I just need you to, matter of fact, I'm sorry. The first question in the poll is that you're going to answer. You're going to select it as either if it's true or false. You're going to select the items that are true. So is this item true? Preparation is not mandatory if I'm only attending a virtual meeting versus leading the meeting. Item number two, and you're going to select this if you think this is true or not. My wardrobe should match my mood and not my position or role in the virtual meeting. I love that question. My wardrobe should match my mood of the day and not my position or role in the virtual meeting. And the last item is networking in a virtual meeting is only for the leaders and executives. So please take about 2 minutes, please, and complete that poll for me so we can see where folks are today. So what are your thoughts right this minute about those items? Excellent, 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 excellent. So guys, just select the answer that works for you. You can just go to the left in the box and just select whichever ones you think are true in this area. If you think all of them are true, select each of them. If you don't, just select the one that you think applies to you. Again, that first question is asking you, it says preparation is not mandatory if I'm only attending a virtual meeting versus leading the meeting. And my wardrobe should match my mood and not my position in the virtual meeting. And networking in a virtual meeting is only for the leaders and executives. Very, very interesting that a lot of individuals believe that your wardrobe should match your mood. I think that's very interesting. It's precious. So the first one's preparation is not mandatory if I'm only attending. Excellent. So there's only a small number of people that believes that's true. Excellent, excellent. I see a few of you in the chat letting me know that you think all of those are false. Or let me know that they're false for you. You think your answer is that they're false for you. Excellent, excellent, excellent.
And Tina, just to give a little context for everyone, because everyone's
Yes,
seeing the answers, is we have 39 participants in here for this session. So that might
super.
give a little context for everyone as to how many people are answering.
I love it. I love it. I see you. I see you. I see you, Chris. I see your comment. Thank you. Excellent. I see you, Tammy. I love that. Tammy from TEDCO is also a friend of mine, is letting me know. She says, attending, I need to prepare to receive the content that I'm going to gain. So one of the items as we wrap this up, I don't want to spend a lot of time here because of course I'm going to talk about all of these in the body of this. But the one item that I really do want to address, because I think it's a biggie, I want to address for the moment, I want to address this preparation item. I'm going to say this item over and over today, and I need you guys to understand this, that our minds have to shift to such a place after today that you will never attend another item as if you were not the leader. And I mean from your wardrobe to your mindset to your rest to your appearance to your research. Now, let me be clear. If you're the leader, you're going to do a whole lot more preparing. But if you're attending, I still need you to research some information. I need you to at least know the bare basics of who's coming to the meeting. What is the meeting about? What are some of the key topics they're covering? What would my boss be covering? And ask yourself, if something happens and my manager can't make it to the meeting, and they say, Susan, your manager said you can't make it. Cut your camera on. I need you to begin immediately. Are you prepared? Are you prepared? Because what we don't understand is that because we're always watched, because in the virtual space, more importantly, because we're always watched, we're also being measured by what we're doing. So Stop taking that pessimistic, lackadaisical mindset that, well, my boss said as long as I show up, well, they're saying that because they know that it's been a very tough season. But guess what? We're in this season right now. I'm going to say we're in the middle. I think we're right in the middle of a pandemic. But guess what? We know it's going to continue on in 2021. So because at this moment we know it's going to continue, I need to decide. Remember, you have to decide your promotion level. If you've decided that before December ends, what do I want to do? What do I want to master? What type of promotion do I want? How do I want others to see me? How come my boss doesn't invite me to the large meetings before COVID? How come they never put me on the top teams? How come I was never selected? Guess what? Check your habits now. Don't let the pandemic allow you to be invisible. Don't lose out on what's yours. Don't lose out on what's yours. I have two funny stories to tell you. The first one is, let me share about my mother. So my mother, is deceased, my mother worked for the White House for 25 years. My mother ran the mail analysis department, and she began that position with President Nixon, and she stayed in that position to President Clinton's first term. She led a team of 60 individuals, and what they did all day long is they read the mail that came into the White House. They read every stitch of mail, the mail that was sent to the dogs. Okay. If there was a dog in the White House, there was mail coming to them. Okay. They read the mail and they responded to every piece of mail. So, beginning in the fifth grade, I had to be checked from head to toe before I went to elementary school. And it made no sense to me. And I said, Mom, my mom was a single mom. My dad, they were divorced. So he was in DC. My mom's in Maryland with myself and three other girls. My mother's raising four girls on her own. Okay. Before I left the house, she would tell me, you have a stocking. I mean, you have a run in your tights. Well, yeah, Mom, I know, but it's not a big deal. Yeah, it is. I need you to change. Fifth grade, guys, fifth grade. I said, I don't see what the big deal is. She said, number one, it looks bad on you. And number two, it reflects bad on me. I said, whoa. Okay. So guess what? Just like in the office, you reflect yourself first and then you represent your boss second. So we have to step up because guess what? In case you didn't know it, part of your job is to make your boss look good. Part of your job. So when you come onto a virtual meeting late and you look sleepy and your posture is lazy and your outfit looks like it has not been ironed in weeks, they look at you, they mumble something, and then they send a note to your boss to say, is Susan okay? He looks like something's wrong. Guys, we have to step it up. We have to step it up. Next funny story, my daughter, 17, was in college tours all weekend, virtual college tours. And each time I would go peek in real quick to see was she on time and did she take the bonnet off her head? You know how we do, ladies. And, did she have her little makeup on? And she was fine. But the last session, she said, I'm really tired. But mommy, the note says, y'all, she showed me the note. The note says, keep your cameras off. She said, I'm not going to do my hair this morning. I'm okay. We're fine. I said, Brie, it's not a good idea. I said, I'm teaching a session next week and I'm going to tell them we have to be camera ready at all times. She says, it's not a problem. She gets into the meeting and these 100 or so other young girls that are trying to get college degrees and scholarships for these major dance programs, they are all cutting their cameras on. They all look fabulous. And then the leader says, oh, there was a mistake in the bulletin. I need to see everyone now. So she's scrambling in 5 minutes to put clothes on, to put makeup on, and to get herself together. And I said, guess what? That's the purpose of my session. Ladies and gentlemen, please don't go into another session from this moment forward and not be camera ready. Unless, let me say this, unless you don't feel well. If you don't feel well and you really just want to go in and hear the information, other than that, that's one thing. But if you just feel like, I didn't sleep well and I think I have a headache, you got to push past it. Because in this season, your promotion is tied to your presentation and it's tied to your appearance. Excellent. Thank you so much. We can move on. Mel? Thank you. We want to always be camera ready. As we take a look at this next item, it is just a quick assessment. It's a quick assessment, and you can rate yourself in the chat box, or you can just rate yourself on a sheet of paper in front of you. But I want you to please rate yourself with either a 1, 2, or 3. regarding how you see yourself right now in what you offer services wise, or I'm sorry, how you really present or respond in the virtual space. How do you rate yourself right now? One, two, or three, with three being the highest in the success level. How do you rate yourself? It's a mini assessment. So, number one, it says, I recognize the importance of following or using professional etiquette in the virtual meeting or event space now. So, this is how you rate yourself. Right now, you recognize the importance of professional etiquette. Would you rate yourself a one, two, or three? And please, you can put in the chat if you like, a one, two, or three, three being the highest. Please rate yourself. Item number two, right now you have a clear understanding of when professional etiquette techniques should be applied. You have a clear understanding of when professional etiquette techniques should be applied. How would you rate yourself? One, two, or three? And the last one is that you recognize the importance of networking professionally in the chat boxes during a meeting event. Excellent, excellent. I love that comment, Chris. And Chris is so right. So Chris is one of the board members for TOC, and he's got some great comments. One of his comment was, "It's great to know how to do something. There's another thing to do it." So guess what, guys? That's what this is about. I want you to gain and understand where you are right now regarding the virtual space, but to make a commitment that when you leave this session, you will be different. You will be different. That's what today is about. Let's move on. What is a virtual meeting? Of course, there are many, many definitions out there. There are many people coming up with their own, but just to give you a very basic one, I wanted to just put us all on the same level right now at the moment. One of the definitions I spotted was that a virtual meeting is a perfect video conferencing mode for organizing briefings, status meetings, board meetings, town hall meetings, webinars, and of course, we know it means um, status sessions, roundtables, brainstorming sessions, panel discussions, anything in the workplace where we have to come together in a virtual format represents a virtual meeting. So that's our focus today, is professional etiquette for the virtual meeting. Now let's get to the nitty gritty. This is the heart of our session today. I love this. I'm going to spend a lot of time on these next two slides. Regarding the virtual meeting and regarding professional etiquette, first of all, professional etiquette begins right at this place. When you have been invited to a meeting, when you've been invited to a meeting, the first thing you have to ask yourself is, number one, what is my current role? What role do I hold right now? What is the invitation that has been given? And what is the exposure attached to it? But again, what is my current role? What is the invitation? Like, where did the invitation come from? An executive leader at your current agency or current company? Did the invitation come from someone on the outside that wants you to come speak on behalf of the agency or company? Why were you asked? So I need your mind to begin to shift from this moment forward, that you're going to take on a new mindset the moment I'm asked to do something. So there's a list of roles there regarding some of the roles some of you wear, and regarding the invitation. The statement is, you have been invited to an event or virtual meeting, and what's next? So guess what's next? Before you even start to prepare, before you start to understand, why am I going to the meeting? What am I going to do at the meeting? Why did they invite me anyway? Why didn't they invite me last month? Wow. They know, if I was back in, if COVID had not happened, would I still be at the table? We gotta move past all of that. So right now, I'm shifting your mindset. The next time you get an invitation, even, I don't care if it's a status meeting, I need your mind shifted to change. I need you to shift to such a level of excellence that your manager will call you up on a separate Zoom session and say, are you job searching because your posture has changed? I need you to begin to throw out some stuff out of your wardrobe. Go get those crisp white shirts. Go get a couple cute jackets. Get a couple of pair of pearls. Yes, I wear pearls sometimes on a meeting because I just want to shake people up. Okay. They know I don't have on pajamas if I have on pearls. Okay. I just want to shake people up. Step up your game. Step up your game, because if you're expecting a promotion, you got to walk those steps out until the promotion happens. So the next time you get an invitation, I need you to get excited about the next item beneath it. I'm going to read it because I love it. I pulled this from several different sources, but when I finally finished up with this piece, it just excited me as to where I want your mindset to be. So the moment you get an invitation, I need you to consider that invitation that it is an opportunity for exposure. I'm on page 9 of the slide. By the way, you will get these slides at the end. An opportunity for exposure. It says an invitation is an opportunity for exposure. This opportunity is a moment in time to seize it with integrity, strength, humility, and empathy, and to function in accordance to your past experiences, knowledge, education, degrees, certifications, and even skill sets. Remember, you are representing your agency or organization as well as yourself, and your first impression has everything to do with your next opportunity of exposure. Woo! Y'all know that was good. Y'all know that was good. I just want you to understand. Some of you have been trying to figure out, and you've been discussing how COVID is upsetting your future. You're discussing how COVID is blocking your promotion. You are calling up friends to say, I can't believe we're in a pandemic. I'll never get the bonus. I'll never get the raise. How can I ever get in front of my boss now? Guess what happens? You have to decide that you're going to do something in this season to deserve the place at the table. I need you to get to a place in which your manager is asking you to come and others outside of the agency are requesting you by name. That's why you're stepping up your preparation, your wardrobe, your timing, your commitment, even your posture. I'm skipping ahead, but don't ever sit in another virtual session slouching. If you have to get a new chair, get a new chair, but they need to be able to glance at you and see your greatness. That's what this session is about. You have gifts and talents. You have them. But as Chris said, he said it's one thing to know it, but to know you have talents, but yet to show up late to every meeting, to know you have talents, but yet to wear that same sweatshirt every time you show up, it's not working for you. It's not working for you. So the next time you get an invitation, I need you to evaluate purpose. Regarding the purpose, whether you are attending the meeting or whether you are leading the meeting, you have to figure out your purpose. Again, I have the roles up here at the top. So for those that are attending meetings, these are some of the reasons why you attend the meeting. But if you have other purposes on why you attend your meetings, please put them in the chat for me. So attending a virtual meeting, sometimes I think these are the most common items. When you're attending a meeting, a lot of times you're there to represent the agency or organization. Sometimes you're there to gain insight over the problem being discussed. You're there to capture information. Sometimes you're there to share information, even though you're not leading it. You already know that I need to make sure that I bring my numbers, I need to bring my data, I need to gather my information so that when they call on me, you're not sure if they're going to call on you, but you're going to be prepared that if they call on you, you can not only share the information, you can even say, oh, Mr. Smith, I also sent you the Excel sheet. You can share it if you like. We want to step up your efforts, step up your focus. Think about what your boss may need ahead of time. But guess what? If you're leading the meeting, this is my favorite. If you're leading the meeting, I need you to even begin to shift your mindset. We want to do things different. Let's do something different. Let's figure out how can I enhance my virtual meetings as a leader? How can I shift? How can I shift what I do in my virtual meetings? Why are the people not showing up in my meeting? Why are they always late? What happens is people begin to talk. When they know that the meetings start late, they come late. When they know that there's always a lot of, we can chat in the beginning of a meeting and we should, but when they know that the chatter continues on for 20 minutes, they show up at the 20-minute mark. But when they know that your purpose has changed, their attendance will change. So regarding my leaders, I need my leaders to begin to think about what type of meeting am I scheduling for next Friday? How is it going to run? And what are we going to do different to engage the people in my meeting? So is your meeting informative? Is your meeting demonstrative? Is your meeting persuasive? Are you attempting to motivate someone? So if you're doing an informal meeting or an informative meeting, then the purpose of that meeting is you are there to share some interesting information. You are there to share the status of the project. You may be there to share some of the problems that have come up on the project. You may be there to share the data that came in about the different LMS systems you've been comparing. You may be there to share about a new GAO report that just came out and identified some of the failures or complacency issues or failures that have happened around your agency. You may want to start an informative meeting, but it may lead into another meeting later on. But whatever the type of meeting is, you want to know what that meeting is, because once you define the purpose of that meeting, everything that's presented at that meeting will lead around the type of meeting you're having. If you're having a demonstrative meeting, guess what? In a demonstrative meeting, I'm going to give some type of demonstration. I may demonstrate how to get on the new LMS. I may demonstrate how to go research a particular problem that we've had. I may demonstrate how to use the new benefits package that we just got. I may demonstrate how to use, oh, this is my favorite. I may demonstrate how to create a professional LinkedIn page, because I want all of my employees to have a professional LinkedIn page. So I may have someone come in and do a demonstration for us. Excellent. Next item, I may have a persuasive meeting, meaning I'm trying to persuade or convince you to do X. I may try to persuade or convince you to purchase a certain thing at the company. I may try to persuade you to hire a certain group of people. I may try to persuade you to move past this platform and to move over to this platform. I know it's more expensive, but it's more professional. So I may have to come and bring all of my experts and my data and my background because I want to persuade you. And then the last one is motivational. I want to motivate my team, because as sharp as my team is, I realize that COVID has been very tough. And I may want to bring them together for a motivational or brainstorming session to empower them, because as a leader, that's part of my job. Now, a lot of times you may have one topic that you're focused on, but a lot of times people may have an informative meeting with a touch of persuasion, or a demonstrative meeting with a touch of motivation. But I love to hear in the chat how many of you have used any of these methods and you're conscious of using them when you're running your meeting. How many of you have used some of these? I love to hear from you as we stay here for a second. How many, and then I love to hear how many of you have never thought about the type of meeting that you've had, because that's important too. Again, we're stepping up our game. We are moving to another level, because as we move to another level, guess what? Our teams move to another level. Our agency or private organization moves to another level, because I can only go as my company can only go as high as the content and the individuals and their skill set that are in the company. Again, I can only go as high as those that are in it as well as their content. Excellent. Let's move over. Let's take a look for a second. I'm gonna move a little quicker. Let's take a look for a second over how to prepare. We talked about purpose. How do I prepare? How do I prepare for an upcoming phenomenal virtual meeting? I have many steps. I'm not gonna go through all of these because you'll get the slides, but some of my favorites are regarding preparation. You want to make sure that when you're preparing your information, that you know the meeting purpose, that you know who the audience is that's going to be in your meeting, that you know what their goals are for attending the meeting. You want to make sure that you also do the research around the type of meeting that you've already identified in the previous slide. So I got to make sure that my preparation is lined up with everything I'm doing. And I want to make sure in my preparation, I want to make sure I take the time to select the place in my home office or my rented office. I want to make sure that my design of my office and my layout is professional. Okay, it does matter the stuff that's behind you. It does matter if there's a bunch of junk, if it's piles of stuff. It does matter if there's a bunch of clutter around. It matters. Number one, it affects how you act, but it also affects what people see. So we just want to take the time to check those items. Excellent. Some of the meeting basics as we begin to prepare for a meeting is, I want to make sure that where I can, I minimize presentation length. I want to always suggest, if possible, I want to suggest that videos be on if I can, if I'm going to see them, because the video thing and seeing people in person, it really does matter. But what happens is, and let me go there for a second, a lot of us, a lot of individuals are having challenges. And because they're having challenges, it is affecting whether or not their video is on. So to my leaders, instead of you trying to figure out the best way to make them do it, please make some phone calls, reach out to them and see how they're doing. Have a conversation with them. Make sure that you're having often check-ins with your benefits office to talk to everyone about the free counseling in the EPA, I mean, in the EAP, through your EAP and benefits, so that they recognize if they're having a tough time, they can get counseling, because sometimes they need counseling. The other piece of that is sometimes I need to make sure that they're doing okay. I just need to make a check-in call. I just make a check-in call, because guess what? The connection between how your audience is on a virtual call is related to how they feel mentally. And that's how it is. The last piece of preparation is I want to talk about different things you can do to enhance. You can literally begin to enhance your meetings with different breakout groups. You can literally add a think tank in. You can add a great round robin discussion. You can do some individual exercises. And as we did today, you can always add a virtual chat and poll just to check in with folks to make sure that folks are doing what they said they're going to do. Excellent. Excuse me. Oh, this is my favorite slide. This is my favorite slide about preparation regarding your wardrobe. So let me say this before I even talk about what's on here. Let me just say this. Mm. I recognize that part of what helps us manage the change is being casual. There's nothing wrong with being casual. I love that a lot of the leaders and executives have said to their staff, I'm okay if you come in sweats. It's okay. I'm okay if you come, business casual. I'm okay. But just I just need you to, put on something. Just make sure that you're on time. So I don't want to, I'm not going to overstep that. I do agree that a lot of times there's that standard, there's that general status meeting that we have all the time, every Monday that lasts for 2.5 hours. There's that meeting we have every Friday morning. It's very casual. We're just running through a status very quickly. I get that, but I still need for you to decide. I need for you to decide. I wonder would it make a difference if I started going to those meetings with a different posture? I wonder if it would make a difference if I put on just a little lightweight blazer as I go to present. I know everyone else is going to be in jeans, but I'm thinking I'm going to put on a little something different. So, according to this woman, Cindy Ann Peterson, and she has some phenomenal, phenomenal pieces on the internet. Cindy Nat, her title is an internationally CIP certified image professional. Her focus is clear and simple. She says, in the absence of clear rules defined by virtual meetings, one way to look at your wardrobe is to assess how you want others to view you. So, her 3 questions she said you should ask yourself is number one, does your wardrobe demonstrate personal respect for the position you hold? Or number two, does your wardrobe demonstrate respect for your peers? Or number three, does your wardrobe demonstrate respect for the institutional agency that you belong to? I absolutely love that. And I love that because it really begins to even have some of our leaders kind of think about, well, maybe I'll go back to very casual Friday, but business casual during the week. Because even though we are going through a tough time, we are still in the work environment. We are still in a business environment, some of us. We are still being rated on how we offer certain items. We are still trying to represent a certain environment. And as a result, sometimes how we act starts with what I feel like I look. It is how it is. Okay. Maybe not so much as, maybe not as, I don't want to, I'm not going to dogmat. I know I don't believe that the attire has as much effect on the mental stability as it does for women. I believe as women, I believe that we truly do respond differently depending on how we feel like we look hair wise, how we feel like our outfit looks. So guess what that means? It means that I got to work on my mental stability and my emotional intelligence, but I also have to work on my rest and I have to work on my wardrobe because I can't bring an A game to the table if I'm feeling like a C. Okay, so just evaluate your wardrobe and evaluate what you want your wardrobe to do for you in the next virtual meeting. The last piece, not the last, but the next piece, virtual meeting benefits. Again, there are a lot of right now we're forced to do this. We are. But again, I need your mind to shift over to the virtual meeting benefits. Why should you attend one? Why should you hold one? Some I'm not going to go through all of them, but my three top ones are I love that a virtual meeting allows for greater attendance and reach. Greater attendance and reach. Initially, everybody from DC could get to my meeting. Now, guess what? I'm having everybody on my meeting from the West Coast because I've been waiting to see them anyway. So take advantage of the reach. Take advantage. The next one is I love the item about more opportunities to gain knowledge. Come to the meeting and desire to leave with new knowledge. Come to the meeting with 2 to 3 questions you are going to ask about the new knowledge, but also come prepared to answer a question if you think that you may, just if you think that there's a chance you're going to be called on. Just come prepared. Just come prepared. And I love powerful brainstorming options. Any type of virtual meeting at any given point, I can toss out a topic and we can brainstorm for 12 minutes and literally begin to change the trajectory of our environment because I'm going to hear from different experts. Now you can begin to connect with individuals at every level. This is an opportunity like never before where I can begin to be promoted, elevated, and placed at a table in another country because I stepped up my game. The last piece on the screen that I love is virtual meetings allow us to begin to humanize our relationships. When you were in your office, there were so many hesitations as to how you felt about walking into your manager's office or walking up to talk to some of the individuals up in the C-suite or up in the executive suite. But guess what? Now you can send them a very short email to say, Steve, do you have a few moments? Can we do a virtual chat? That's my line. Can we do a virtual chat over coffee next week for 15 minutes on Friday morning? Guess what? Steve will make that time for you. So we can begin to elevate our conversations, elevate our meetings, and begin to have dialogue about what your next step looks like. Excellent. We are wrapping up. The next one is assessing ways to practice. If you are leading the meeting, guess what? You have to practice. If you're leading the meeting, you should be practicing on the technology that you're using. You want to be practicing what type of backup will I put in place. You want to have a practice regarding who's going to be in the session, who's going to do what. So practice with the material. Make sure it loads. Make sure that the colors transcend over. A lot of times your colors in PowerPoint, they don't usually do an easy transition over. Practice the colors. Practice, do my images flow over? Practice, does it read well? Don't be afraid. In this season, guess what? We got to walk in humility. Don't be afraid to ask someone, can you review those and tell me your thoughts? And then take their comments and make the comments. You don't have to make them all, but be open. Be open, be flexible. Practice makes perfect. That's what it says. Practice makes perfect. Now let's spend a few moments as I wrap up on how to actually deliver. We're now talking about how to deliver. This is a pretty large slide, but I'm going to pull everything up because I'm going to just hit everything very quickly about delivering. Again, you're going to get these slides. When you are delivering, whether you are attending or leading, some of them are the same items, but at the top, I'm going to give you my favorites at the top. When you are attending, we've talked about a lot of these, but I want to just remind you, number one, arrive early all the time. Get into a habit, arrive at least 15 minutes early. I don't care if you have to sit in a waiting room. Bring something to read, sit in a virtual waiting room and just wait. Be patient. Please don't arrive early and be on an actual phone call. Okay? Come, you can look over your notes, you can review, but come and arrive early. If the protocol of your agency or your organization is you can go and chat and introduce yourself, use the chat professionally. Introduce yourself. Share that you're excited to be there. Ask them how they're doing. Especially if it's different countries, different states, chat a little bit. Okay. Make sure that you have great lighting in your room. Natural lighting is always better. Make sure your seating, make sure your room design is set up effectively. Always, and I see you guys have done it all day today. Network professionally at every event. Network professionally. What does that mean? Introduce yourself. Share if you have a business. If you're in a federal agency, share where you are. Share a couple of things that you're working on if you want to. You don't have to. Share if you are known for A, B, and C. If that's the environment, share business owners. If there's a business problem you solve, don't overwhelm the people, but let them know the 2 to 3 items that you solve, and then give them your website and move on. But while you're networking, always take a look at the individuals that are on there. You may say, I know that name. Oh my goodness, I've been following him for years. Guess what you do? You click on his name, you go do a private chat and say, John, it is so great to see you. I'd love to have a coffee chat with you next week to chat a little bit about blah, blah, blah. That's what networking professionally is. But the biggie is when you get the people, you get the information, you have to follow up when you leave. Follow up. So for leading a virtual meeting, leading it, you want to make sure that when people come in, you check in with them, introduce yourself with them, have a little chat as they're entering the session. Come with energy. If you have to manage your own emotional intelligence for a whole week before you present because you're so nervous, then manage your own emotional intelligence. Get some rest. Eat a great meal. I know steak and cheeses are your favorite, but you can't have that at 2 in the morning or midnight the night before you present. It won't go well. It just, sometimes there's this, we lose it in the small things, okay? Sometimes you gotta fast. Sometimes you gotta say, you know what? I'm nervous. I'm not gonna eat anything. Sometimes that's a good move. Sometimes that's a good move to eat after this session. Make sure your outfit is tight, whatever that is. Be clear about why you're there in the meeting. Make sure you create check-in points in the meeting. Have expectations in the meetings, but make sure that your focus is. I have down here, if you're leading the meeting, somewhere in that meeting, you ought to be engaging, educating, and equipping people on the topic at hand. You ought to be engaging, educating, and equipping people with the topics at hand because that's your focus. That is your focus of that profession of offering professional etiquette in the meeting. Excellent. As we begin to wrap up, we've already talked about this a little bit. How do you want to be promoted? What does promotion look like to you when you leave the session? What does promotion look like to you? Promotion for some of you is to gain a seat at the table. Promotion may be to gain a career promotion at the current place you're working. Promotion may be you want to be invited to take some additional expensive learning development training sessions in another state. Promotion to you may be new business. It may be to get a new mentor or a new business relationship. But whatever your reason is for getting promoted, you want to make sure that you write it down. Define what promotion looks like to you at the end of 2020 and what does promotion look like in 2021, and then begin to take a look and see what am I doing to earn that promotion. What does my focus look like? What does my wardrobe look like? What does my timing looks like? What am I saying out of my mouth? Because remember, there's water cooler discussion that happens before every presentation. So you have to make sure that your conversation, what you're saying, even when you chat, still lines up with where you're going. Because whatever you speak is what's going to take place. But as I wrap up, I thank you so, so much. Again, this is Dina Nance, owner of Training by Design Incorporated, and I'm just excited to say I'm looking forward to see the professional etiquette that you offer in your next virtual meeting. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Chris or Mel, would you like to take over? Chris, did Mel want to close out or would you like to close out? Okay, she's coming. Mel is setting up slides. Thank you, Mel. Excuse me. Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm not sure if you guys can hear Mel, but Mel, I can't hear you, but I'm just going to walk them through for everyone. I think you guys see what Mel is posting. Number one, she's posting my handout and the closing, so you're welcome to get the handout. But more importantly, they need you to complete the survey. Please click on the survey link. And I believe Mel is going to speak on upcoming events and other items, but also she's going to show you how to get to TOC, the TOC website, Training Officers Consortium. Please take time and check that out. Excellent. Yes, please complete the survey. And I'm waiting to see if Mel lost her sign. But as she, again, please complete the survey. Also get a copy of the handout. Those are my slides there. Excellent. She's posting up the upcoming events.
Hey, everybody. I'm
There's a
not
powerful,
sure
powerful
if you're
workshop.
able to hear Chris.
And I believe that Chris is delivered. I hope I said the right person. I think Chris is delivered next week's workshop on October 27th, managing teams in a remote environment. She informed me that the link is not up yet,
Let
but
me
it
know if
should
you're.
be up in the next day or so.
Oh,
So please
okay.
check out
I
the
think he's having
TOC
some trouble
website
there.
to
So I want.
register. He's going to give us some great information.
Thank
Again, everyone,
everybody
let's kick
for
this off.
joining
Mental
today. We do have
leadership
some
in the
upcoming
context
events.
of
We have another
crisis.
one next Tuesday at 12. Know that all of our events start
Excellent.
at noon Eastern. I know there was some confusion. We're working with Adobe Connect on why those calendar invites weren't working, but know that all of our events always start at noon. Our webinars are an hour. The symposium will be 90 minutes. There is a copy of the slides here for you at the bottom left corner of your
I can hear him
screen.
now.
Just click on that and download. That'll open up a separate web browser. We do have some web links there for you. And if you miss any of our webinars, they are recorded and made available up on our archive. So all of those web links that we just talked about or showed you are here, and you are welcome to open those up. Probably the most important is please give us some feedback. A big thank you to Dina for a fabulous presentation. A copy of her slides are there at the bottom left corner of your screen. Once you're ready, you are welcome to log out of the session.